Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Joining you as always is your host, Trent Dialton, and it is down to 4 teams now. Semi-finals are completed, and now we are on to the preliminary finals in the AFL this week. Some disappointing games, might I add, though, for the semi-final action. The qualifying and elimination finals were really good games. Can't say the same, really, for the semi-final. A little bit disappointing, but nonetheless, we do have the 4 teams remaining now, so it'll be up to them. It's up to their fate now to see who will get those final 2 spots in the grand final and taste the final glory of holding up the Premiership Cup. So in this episode, we will review all of the semi-final action and go over some news. And there's one topic that has been doing the rounds, and I'm sure some of you may be sick of hearing it, but it's one that you can't not talk about. So I think you know exactly which one I am talking about there. It is indeed Zach Merrett. So without further ado, let's get into some of the news first. Starting off with Melbourne have announced their coach, Stephen King, Geelong assistant coach, will be the new coach of the Melbourne Football Club going into 2026. Interesting enough, it was Buckley's if he wanted it. He had the meeting with them on a Monday, and they said, would you be willing to take the job now? He basically said, look, I have a meeting with Tasmania tomorrow, the Tuesday. Let me get back to you Wednesday, because he has to weigh up all his options. Let's be real. He's already got a meeting booked in on the Tuesday, so it'd be rude not to go there and then. So he was going to do that, and pretty much they couldn't wait, so they went with the other favourite that they wanted for the job, was Stephen King. So by all means, they would have been happy with either one of them, but Buckley was their guy that they wanted. They weren't able to get Buckley, but they have got Stephen King, and it's really good to see that another assistant coach is having a first chance at senior coaching role now, with obviously Stephen King, and by all means, this probably means that you can nearly lock away that Nathan Buckley will be the Tasmania coach when they come in, and we need a bit of an update on that stadium, because it's a bit iffy down there. But if it's anything like the photo Brendan Gale put up, we're in for a ripper of a stadium, but haven't heard much about that. Another one of the news is Jesse Motlop signed 2-year extension for the Carlton Football Club. Good news for Carlton, because he's one of those players that shows glimpses, but just hasn't been able to put it together as consistent footy. Now, he's not quite as good as this player, but he reminds me a bit of this player with the fact that you watch some of his moments and you go, oh, geez, he's got a bit of talent. He could be something. He reminds me a little bit of Cosy Pickett. Just nowhere near the talent, I don't think. You never know what... That's rude. You never know what he could build into, but Cosy was a breakout year, All-Australian year this year. But the years prior to that, we always saw Cosy have these games where you're just like, oh, okay, there's some real talent. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think Jesse Motlop's anywhere near the talent that he had then, but he just reminds me of him where he shows those glimpses. He has some really good forward pressure, really good tackler, some really good speed, and they got him up around the ball a bit more, and it looked all right when he was up around the ball. So I think I like that they've persisted with him, so hopefully he can return the faith and show them that he can be the player that they hope he could be. Now, the other news to talk about is obviously Zach Merrett. Now, I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing about it, but it'd be silly not to talk about it and where I see of it. So basically, the captain of the Essendon Football Club, Zach Merrett, wants out. And he doesn't just want out, he only wants to go to Hawthorn. Unfortunately, Zach, as I pick up the remote, as I'm like a teacher pointing the stick, doesn't quite work like that. Here's the thing. Here's what I think of it. You're the captain of the football club. Right? Captain of the football club. I understand that you want success. You're 29 years of age. You've given as much as you can to this football club. And superstar player, about to win your 6th best and fairest at the club. Superstar player would walk into all 18's best 22 midfield. Best 22 as a starting midfielder is what I should say. The part that I don't like about it is you're supposed to be the captain. Right? The captain. The face of the Essendon Football Club. And you haven't come forward and spoke about this once. This has been going on for a few years now with Zach Merrett. Rumours here and there. And that's all it's been is rumours to this point. But as the captain of the football club, they shouldn't have to be hearing this from your player manager. You had dinner with Brad Scott. 24 hours later, you were having dinner with Sam Mitchell. Now, mind you, Sam Mitchell, it's not about him at the moment, but I was sitting there going, gee, Sam Mitchell, you still got a semi-final to play. Do you not think that your team is good enough right now to go all the way this year? Because you're going out looking for another superstar. But, and this is not on Sam Mitchell, anything to improve your team is good. I just thought it was a bit strange. You still had a semi-final to play. But Zach Merrett should be coming up and not having the player managers talk to him, but he needs to talk to his players. Mason Redmond, Nick Martin have come out. They're fuming. Let's put it. They've come in to bat for their club because their own captain can't. It's plain and simple. This is going to get really ugly, and we are not going to hear the end of this till the end of the trade table. Essendon are standing firm that they will not trade him. Under any circumstances, Zach Merrett will not be traded. But I can't see how he can walk back into that football club as the captain. I wouldn't take him seriously as a player. Why would I want to be leaded in 2026 by a person, an individual, who doesn't even want to be here and yet he's going to be my captain? I don't think so. So if he's not going to be traded, he's not. There is no way he can be the captain of the Essendon Football Club. It's just that. And on Zach Merrett, it's a bit gutless what he's doing at the moment. He needs to come forward and express what he wants. I get it. It's just the talent. He wants to go seek success. But he needs to talk to the other leadership group because they're just getting left in the dark. And he's letting the player manager do all the talking. You are the face of the football club. Get some balls. Go and speak instead of having the player manager speak for you and then having all the journos, all the media outlets, the radio shows, just talk and speculate. Put it to bed and come out and say what you're really feeling. And if I'm Essendon, he's a contracted player. You have the keys to this. He doesn't want to be there. All right. Who says he has to go to Hawthorn? I don't think he doesn't have to go to Hawthorn. Go and shop the best value you can get for him. Be like, okay, Merrett, you want out, but unfortunately, Hawthorn aren't giving us what we like. But hey, guess what? Example. I'll just use my team example. Collingwood are. So guess what? We'll trade you, but you're going to Collingwood. You're not going where you want to go to Hawthorn because unfortunately, you don't call the shots around here when you are a contracted player at our football club and supposed to be the captain of our football club. So that's my thoughts on the situation. It's going to get really ugly, and I'm just waiting for Zach Merrett to finally man up and come out and speak out on the situation. So that's just my point of view on that. So without further ado now, let's get into reviewing the semi-final action. All right, so we'll kick off with the Friday night action between Adelaide and Hawthorn at the Adelaide Oval, and the Hawks got this done really comfortably in the end. 34 points was the margin. 10-7-67 the Crows. The Hawks 14-7, 100. 14-17, sorry, I should say. 101. Goal kickers for the Crows. Thilthorpe kicked 3 and Rochelle kicked 2 coming on as the sub. As for the Hawks, Jack Gunston doesn't look like he's slowing down. Looked like he could get going for ages. And he had Mark Keane in absolute shambles down there. Possibly got that position wrong because Keane just did not have the smarts to go. I mean, Gunston is such a smart footballer. He just stayed back, hanged loose out the back while Mark Keane just let him go. And Gunston reaped the rewards, kicking 5. Watson kicked 2, all of them coming in the first quarter, and one of them was an absolute beauty, that was. Butler was really impressive with 2. And Weddle also kicked 2. As for disposals, this man didn't, although the Crows lost, he didn't go down without trying. That was Josh Worrell, 33 disposals, 10 marks, 12 intercepts, 8 rebound 50s, and 589 metres gain. And Laird also had 30 disposals at 97% efficiency. Ward, best game for the club. 31 disposals, 5 clearances, and 7 score onwards. Mr. September himself, John Newcomb, was again enormous. 28 disposals at 93. Sorry, I got an itchy nose around the side. 28, 93% efficiency, 8 clearances, and 10 score onwards. And again, I'm sorry, guys. It's clear the Crows are just not quite ready for finals footy. Where they lack, obviously, it is the experience around there. Obviously, Hawthorn being there last season, going to the semi-final. And then they've got the likes of Gunson, who's played finals footy as well down there. Obviously, special thoughts go out to Luke Bruce, who won't be able to get back in the side after that horrible injury in the VFL. But the Crows were just not quite ready. Forwards didn't fire a shot, really, other than Riley Thilthorpe kicking the 3. Darcy Fogarty, where did he go? He's just an almost player. He's a what-if player, Darcy Fogarty. Has all the tools to be a really good second, third forward. Big body, beautiful. One of the best set shots in the AFL, might I add. Big body, explosive speed, can take a nice grab, but he just goes missing too much. And when the team needed a forward to stand up, other than Thilthorpe, he wasn't the one to be able to do it. Jordan Dawson had a really poor final series. Too much was probably laid on his back with the likes of their midfield. Sam Berry was not the guy that should have went to John Newcomb. That should have been Jordan Dawson going head-to-head or as playing a tagging role, because John Newcomb just monstered him, really. And that's where they really lacked, was their midfield. I think their midfield isn't quite strong enough. Jordan Dawson, Jake Saligo, Sam Berry. It's just not good enough. Without Isaac Rankin there, who's the star player? Jordan Dawson's a really good player, but he's not your high disposal type of player. And if that's not going to be the case, who's going to go with him? Jake Saligo does it in patches. He has really good, few games and then goes missing for a few. Really good few games and goes missing for a few. Sam Berry is never the player who gets your 20-plus disposals. And he's only getting 12, 15 touches. I don't know what he's doing in that best 22. If you're playing the tagging role, awesome. Do it properly. Shut John Newcomb down, but you just weren't paying close enough attention to John Newcomb, and he is Mr. September. But I think they really need to have a good look at this midfield, especially if it's without Isaac Rankin going into 2026. Isaac Rankin will need to spend more time in the midfield. Hopefully they can get a full fit Josh Shalley back, who can play that forward role in Isaac Rankin's absence, but also play a bit more time for the midfield. Do they have a look at playing Dan Curtin inside as that big body midfielder? Did play midfield at Waffle level and was really good. Do they have a look at Mitch Hinge or Michelini in that midfield? Just something different, because what they are throwing around right now, I get it, can hold their heads up high a tad, saying that they finish on top of the ladder, but by all means, you've gone out in straight sets, and that's the bottom line. They need something different for that midfield, because that's, at the end of the day, what really let them down in their game. But full credit to Hawthorn. They were enormous. I mentioned extraordinary, finishing 8th. Now they're into a prelim final. I mentioned Josh Ward's best game for the club, but another player that was really influential was Sam Butler. 2 goals, 15 disposals, and 9 tackles. He's had his injury problems this season and come into the side at the right time, and when he's come in, he has performed. That's been the really pleasing thing for Hawthorn and Sam Butler. So I think that's one tick that they can have, and hopefully he can back it up in the prelim final, because they could still give Geelong a run for their money. We'll talk about that more in the preview episode coming out Wednesday evening. But Adelaide will be very, very disappointed with this. Is it a failed season because they went from 15 to first? I wouldn't say it's quite a failed season, but it's a failed finals campaign, because they were really, really poor. They were nothing like they were in there. Does Isaac Rankin have that much of an impact on that team? Like, they need to find something else through that midfield. Maybe it's, as I said, Curtin. You got Curtin, Hinge, Michelini. Take your pick, and one of them's got to try it. Then Saturday night, this was a poor game. It was the Brisbane Lions getting it done quite comfortably. 53 points, 14-16, 100, defeated 6-11-47. They did it without a couple of without Lockie Neal at least down there. And they have got 5 of their best 22, 23 players out with injury. And we still managed to hang on. Loman and Bailey kicked 3 each. Will Ashcroft and Morris kicked 2 each. As for the Gold Coast Suns, Ben King kicked 2. Disposals-wise, they were everywhere, the Brisbane Lions. McCluggage, bounced back after his 14 disposal game, I want to say it was last week, after being shut out by Ocean Mullen. 33 disposals, 10 clearances. Will Ashcroft was enormous. 28 disposals, 2 goals, 8 clearances, and 11 score runs. Jared Berry, 27 at 85% efficiency. 7 inside 50s, 8 score involvements, and 668 metres gain. Wilmot and Zorko off the half-back line. So Wilmot, 26 at 88% efficiency and 8 intercepts. Zorko, 26 at 704 metres gain. We'll talk about another player soon with the Brisbane Lions. Didn't quite get the 25-plus disposals that I normally talk about, but we'll talk about him in a second. Miller had 28, and Anderson tried hard, 26, a goal and 5 clearances. But unfortunately, the Anderson and Rao factor that I thought was going to be too strong for the Brisbane Lions just didn't perform at the level that they normally do, and no one else could really go with him. The other player I wanted to talk about was Josh Dunkley. Now, Josh Dunkley, take a bow. Without Lockie Neal, Josh Dunkley has stood up and played an absolute blinder, breaking the record for the most tackles in a finals game with 18 tackles. That is an enormous game. We know how much of a tackler and big body he is, but his heart and soul, he just gets the job done again and again and again. 18 tackles is huge. I'm pretty sure that's either equal or one less than the most tackles in a regular game. Most tackles in a game AFL. Let's have a look. So what I have here is on Saturday night, Dunkley became the first player in AFL history to rack up 18 tackles in a final, and it was taken over Jimmy Bartell, who laid 16. Rory Laird, has laid 20 in a game. So 2 less than Rory Laird, but takes over the finals because that's a great effort down there. The Brisbane Lions looked good. Ball movement was electric. They were quick. And Lockie Neal reckons he might be able to get back if they get to the grand final spot, and they have to get over Collingwood, and that is going to be a ripper game set tonight. We'll talk about that again in the preview episode. As I mentioned, their midfield was electric. They bullied the Suns through the midfield, win the clearances 43-26. The Suns did get the jump early, though, kicking the first 2 goals, and I thought, here we go. Here's the Suns that I expected to show up, but after that, didn't really fire a shot at all. But they do fare well. Probably one of their club's great, if not one of their greatest players. If you can't go Ablett, I guess it's probably Ablett, Swallow. Swallow would have to be up there as your top 3. 249 games. What if I write 11 games? I reckon that's supposed to be 111 goals. Let me just fact check that. I've wrote 249 games and 11 games. Let me just double check that. Double swap. I'm assuming that's meant to mean 111 goals. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's exactly what it means. 249 games, 111 goals. He was 2014 best and fairest of the Gold Coast Suns, co-captain from 2019-21, and he's also the Suns record game holder. So David Swallow, have a career. What a career. Number 1 draft pick back in 2011. Heart and soul of that Gold Coast Suns times, the only player that was left from the inaugural Gold Coast Suns side, and was absolutely good. But unfortunately, Gold Coast couldn't get it done for him on the day. They just really didn't fire a shot, and Brisbane Lions bullied them. Well, there you have it, guys. There is my review of all the semi-final action. Thank you, guys, for listening. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video. Turn the notification bell on so you don't miss an upload, and hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to this via Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure to leave a like and comment. Hit that follow button. Turn the notification bell on so you don't miss an upload. Share this off to a mate who you think might enjoy it. And most importantly, guys, please leave a 5-star rating if you do enjoy the show, as that does help push the show out there more so we can get more listeners in, which means more content I can provide for you guys. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, I'll see you guys then.